The upcoming trading week is full of important events. Inflation data from the European Union, the United Kingdom and Canada, combined with the interest rate decisions from major central banks, including the US Federal Reserve, and will certainly keep traders on their toes. Strong volatility is expected later in the week, while the beginning is likely to be relatively calm. The week opens without any crucial economic reports. The corporate sector currently holds the market's attention, with the traders taking a cautious stance. Analysts at InstaForex are ready to bring you the latest market news and insights. Welcome to our fresh review of the US market. Although the US pre-market may seem sluggish today, it's much better than it was on a Friday. A sharp drop in the chip manufacturers' stocks last Friday led the major US stock indexes to their worst daily fall since August 24. By the market's close, the Dow Jones Industrial Average had dropped by 0.83%. The tech-heavy Nasdaq plummeted by 1.56%, while the benchmark S&P 500 index plunged by 1.22% to close at 4,450 points. The outlook was not particularly optimistic on a Monday, with the stock futures contracts posting losses of 0.06% to 0.21%. A predicted trading range for the S&P 500 is seen between 4,420 and 4,480 points. While the market had previously shown impressive optimism regarding macroeconomic indicators, corporate news significantly hampered its sentiment last Friday. Depreciation in the chipmakers' stocks was the main reason to drag indexes down. Stocks of Applied Materials, Lam Research and KLA declined by more than 4%. This downturn was driven by fears of dwindling demand after one of the largest Asian clients, Taiwan-based TSMC, asked several companies to delay shipments. Nvidia shares dropped by 3.7%. Advanced micro devices fell by 4.8%, while both Broadcom and Micron Technology saw declines of over 2% each. Beyond the sell-off in the tech sector, which has been at the forefront of growth this year, the automobile sector further pressured the stock market. Last Friday, the Auto Industry Union in the United States initiated simultaneous strikes at the factories of General Motors, Ford and Chrysler's parent company, Stellantis, escalating tensions within the sector. Furthermore, rising yields on Treasury bonds exerted additional pressure on stocks that are sensitive to interest rate hikes. Consequently, tech giants like Amazon, Microsoft and Meta saw a decline in their stock values, ranging from 2% to 3.7%. The sell-off was also observed in ARM Holdings shares. Following its stellar debut on the Nasdaq on Thursday, the company's stock slid by 4.5% the next day. All 11 sectors of the S&P index experienced a drop, led by the information technology sector, followed closely by consumer goods. For the week, the S&P 500 dipped by 0.16%, while the Nasdaq registered a 0.39% loss. In contrast, the Dow Jones Index increased by 0.12%. On a Monday, major Wall Street indexes remained in the red. Some traders might want to purchase the stocks of market leaders at Friday's discount rates. However, given that Friday's trading volume was twice the average, and with the 2 days remaining until the Fed's pivotal interest rate decision, traders' activity is likely to be sluggish today. Investors may want to wait until the Federal Reserve's meeting and its subsequent rate decision on Wednesday, even though market expectations remain relatively stable. The market is fully braced for a second consecutive pause in the Fed's tightening cycle this Wednesday. Its target range is anticipated to remain unchanged at 5.25 and to 5.5%. Thus, their primary focus will be on updated economic and rate forecasts. A slew of recent economic data which came out stronger than expected has elevated recession fears without triggering concerns of a rate hike this September. However, surges in energy prices pose the risk of accelerated inflation, which is still running way above the Fed's target of 2%. Major institutions like Goldman Sachs, along with the other heavyweights such as JP Morgan and Citi, expect that the central bank will revise its economic growth projections upwards this week. They also anticipate that interest rates will reach their peak soon. In a global monetary policy news, both the Bank of England and the Bank of Japan are slated to announce their rate decisions this week. Today's economic calendar has nothing important to offer, and traders will be focusing on the corporate sector. Meanwhile, China released a series of alarming news. On a Monday, shares of developer China Evergrande plummeted by 25% after some employees of its asset management unit were detained. Shares of Taiwan's TSMC, the world's largest contract chipmaker, sagged by 3% after it asked suppliers to delay deliveries of chip equipment. Meanwhile, after plunging on a Friday, Micron Technology soared by 2.9% in the pre-market trading after Deutsche Bank upgraded the stock to buy from a hold. Nvidia also managed to inch higher by 0.2% in the pre-market, but the pressure on hardware makers remained. While the stock market was not standing still on a Monday, the forex market was calm before the storm, as the major currency pairs were moving sideways. The US dollar index was trading near 105.20. As for the forecast for this session, the index is expected to move within the range of 104.90 and 105.40. At the start of the trading week, the forex market showed dual trading, bracing for important fundamental data. And this week, a number of major economies will release inflation data, and several leading central banks will announce their monetary policy decisions. At the meeting on Wednesday, the Fed is expected to keep the key rate at 5.25 and 5.50%. The latest inflation data came in slightly higher than expected, but it a little changed the balance of power. However, Fed Chairman Jerome Powell's hawkish tone may keep Treasury yields high and support the greenback. In addition, Sweden's Riksbank is expected to raise rates by 25 basis points to 4%, while the Bank of England is likely to raise rates for the 15th time to 5.5%. In the meantime, the Bank of Japan could be the week's biggest drama, given the hawkish comments made by its governor last week. As for the Canadian dollar, it's looking quite beyond compared to other currencies today. The USD CAD pair was trading near 1.3498 or 0.18% lower. Today, the pair is likely to trade within the range of 1.3520 and 1.3575. The loonie is gradually strengthening its position, while most currencies are recovering from last week's shocks and preparing for this week. Oil prices, which hit a 10-month high on a Monday, are the main driver of market sentiment. Brent crude futures climbed 0.57% to $94.46 per barrel. Brent and WTI prices have risen for 3 consecutive weeks, reaching the highest level since November, and they are on a track for their biggest quarterly gain since the first quarter of 2022. This is due to sluggish supply, which could lead to a market deficit of 2 million barrels per day in the fourth quarter. Monday City became the latest bank to predict that the price of Brent crude could exceed $100 per barrel this year. Today, the cryptocurrency market was performing better than other markets. Traders finally got some good news and started actively buying crypto assets. As a result, Bitcoin rose to $27,300, adding 3%. As for the top altcoins, they were also trading mostly in the green. And rumors that SEC chief Gary Gensler may approve a Bitcoin ETF from the major fund companies were the hopes to get a job after leaving the agency could have spurred market optimism, according to analyst Mike Alfred. SEC insiders says Chief Gary Gensler has told friends and advisors that he would like to gracefully extricate himself from his personal Vietnam by approving one or more spot Bitcoin ETFs from the major fund companies where he hopes to get a job after leaving the agency, Alfred wrote on his social media X. The post quickly went viral and was actively discussed. The crypto market was excited on the news. As for the forecast range for Bitcoin, the asset is struggling at $27,350. If the flagship cryptocurrency soars, it may reach $28,000. An alternative scenario suggests that Bitcoin may consolidate in the range of $26,900 and $27,350. Make profits with the InstaForex. Your feedback is appreciated. Have a nice weekend and see you next week on the InstaForex TV channel.